money, but you're a pretty daring guy, I got to tell you, because I understand you wrote a novel with your wife, and most
Right.
people have World War III on picking where to eat this evening. How did you do such a
Right.
thing?
Yeah, I did. So, first of all, funny thing to talk about on a show called Screw the Commute, because the original name is so that book was called Mr. Nice Guy, but the original title of that book that I for years, this is what we were calling it, was called Screw the Critics.
Oh.
And the reason for that is because it was a book about it's a romantic comedy. It has absolutely nothing to do with entrepreneurship. It's about two people who each week sleep together and then critically review each other's performance in the magazine. And it was an idea that I had in
Do
my
the readers of the
20s.
magazine know that this critique is about the husband or wife of the other?
It's a yeah, so it's a recurring column, and it is the woman is the longtime sex columnist for the magazine, and the guy is anonymous for most of the book until, I mean, the reader of the book knows who he is, but the people, inside the world of the book do not, and there's good reason for that, and then it gets
But
revealed.
if she is
Um,
portraying herself as a slut that's like sleeps with somebody different every week, or they know it's the
Well,
same
no,
guy.
she's portraying herself in a kind of Carrie Bradshaw Sex in the City way, where she's out there experimenting with her own sex life so that you, the reader, can understand what it's like to be a single person
Hmm.
in the city.
But it's the
That's
same guy every week.
that's her shtick. But in this case,
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't for a long time. She was doing this for a
Ah,
while, and
okay.
then she meets this guy at a bar. I mean, now if you want to know the whole thing, she meets this guy at a bar, and then she skewers him in the magazine, and then he reads the magazine because dot 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 he works at the magazine. They just didn't realize that he's a low level fact checker who just got a job there, and so he writes a reply anonymously, and they run it. And so now there's a kind of battle of these two people who had this one night stand and then insulted each other in the magazine, and so of course there's a lot of interest in this. Readers want more, and so the editor of the magazine sets a thing up where these two people will each week sleep together and then critically review each other in this magazine. And but for quite a while, the young fact checker manages to evade detection of who he really is. And then, of course, it comes out at some point. So this was an idea that I had in my 20s, and I had no idea how to write it because I do a lot of kinds of writing, magazine writing, script writing. I've even done some television development, but fiction novel writing is just not. It was not something I was good at. And then I married, as it would happen, a novelist, and she knows how to write a
Well, that was
novel. She's
sneaky.
written a,
I mean, I never
she's
heard
written a bunch of
anybody
them.
wants to be a big time author went and married one to get there.
I'll tell you, it's the greatest hack. If you don't
No.
know how to write a novel, then marry one who does. And so we decided after her second or third novel was published, she was trying to figure out what to do. And I said, why don't you write this idea that I've always had that, we both think is funny, but I'm never going to do it. Like, I've tried, I've failed. It's not going to happen. And she said, well, let's just do it together. And so we did. It took about 3 years to do. And I will tell you, because you said, as many people have, that doing something like this sounds like
I
World
mean,
War III.
Pictionary.
And I,
People get divorced over Pictionary.
right. So here's the answer. I mean, this is what worked for us, and I think that this is important for really any partnership of any kind. Distinct roles and responsibilities. We had to understand what each of us was bringing, and then what we were functionally the CEO of. What parts of this process were we each the CEO of, and then we are going to defer to the CEO depending on what the circumstance is. And that was really helpful. So she is a much stronger writer in certain ways than I am, and I can do things better than she can in other ways. And so we divided the labor up, and we tried to make as many decisions jointly as possible. But then when it came down to disagreements, we deferred to each other based on whose territory the disagreement took place in.
Well, there's so many big things right in here that you're talking about. First of all, I've written 20 books, but I
Mm,
wouldn't go near a novel because of same thing. Character development and plot is a mind that I do not have. Mine's all
right.
how-to stuff. So that's one thing. Amazing that you guys got through that. But the second thing is we're talking about a family business here. And even though you wrote out the roles, in a lot of family businesses, they might have roles, but they can't enforce them. And that's